In this video, we're looking at another Holman Handcrafted Collection Bible. This is the single column wide margin Bible. I looked at another handcrafted collection Bible recently, which was the Ancient Faith Study Bible. Both of these are in black goatskin. I encourage you to check out the review on this Bible as well if you haven't seen it already. These are absolutely beautiful Bibles, these handcrafted collection Bibles put out by Holman. As you can see, they come with this really nice two-piece box, very beautiful looking. The one I'm looking at here also comes with this piece of paper that tells a little bit about the handcrafted collection. It says, "We are honored that you would select this Bible as your choice for reading Scripture. As America's oldest Bible publisher, Holman Bibles has been committed to producing high-quality Bibles and inviting readers to experience the life-changing words of Scripture for more than 200 years. This commitment continues to shape our Bible's design, craftsmanship, and lifetime guarantee." So that's a nice thing that you get with a lot of these premium quality Bibles, or just these slips of paper telling you that you bought a nice Bible. It's not really the most important thing, but it is a nice touch, and it does talk about the lifetime guarantee for this Bible. It says, "Please keep your record of purchase should you need to take advantage of our lifetime guarantee." And then it gives contact information. So as I said, the Holman Handcrafted Collection comes with these really nice two-piece boxes. The single column box, I would say, is actually a little bit thicker than the Ancient Faith Study Bible box, but they're both very nice. The back of the box gives all of the information for this Bible. This is a single column text. It has wide margins, footnotes, black letter text for the words of Christ. It is a 10.5 point type. So that's really a good size print, and I think when you look in this Bible, you're going to see it's just really nice, easy to read print. Very nicely done. High quality Bible paper, art gilt page edges, 3 ribbon markers, concordance, presentation page, full color maps, a lot of the typical things that you will see in nice Bibles. This one, though, retails for $180, which is the same retail price as you get with the Ancient Faith Study Bible Handcrafted Collection. It's actually $179.99 to be exact. But for that retail price, you can actually get it cheaper than that a lot of times. And I think what you're going to see here is you're really getting a good deal for your money. And I often say that with these Bibles. A lot of people would look at these as expensive, but when you're talking about getting a goatskin cover, edge line construction, and we will look at that, I mean, these are Bibles that are going to last you a long time. So I think it's worth the investment if you want a Bible that is going to last a long time. You can get, of course, cheaper Bibles, but they're just not going to last as long. And one of the things that I have to say about the Christian Standard Bible Handcrafted Collection is I just think that they have come up with a really unique look. And different Bible publishers have their own look. You can see that, first of all, in these boxes. The boxes both just have a really nice blue color scheme with the gold print on the box. I like that Handcrafted Collection logo, CSB logo on the corner there. So both of these boxes look really nice. And there's kind of a uniform look to these. There's a similarity between these Handcrafted Collection Bibles, but they're also unique to themselves too. Each edition is a little bit different. Another feature that both of the Handcrafted Bibles have in common are their spines. They have the tooled hubs as opposed to raised spine hubs. And personally, I like that. I think it creates something that's just unique to Holman Handcrafted premium Bibles. A lot of Bible publishers now are going with the raised hubs, and that's great. But I think these spines are unique to Holman, and they have a really good look to them. Again, if you look at the Ancient Faith Study Bible, put that next to the single column Bible here, you can see their spines are very similar. They've got the logo for the CSB, Holy Bible, Christian Standard Bible translation spelled out there, and then the Holman brand name at the bottom here. Both of these have a black goatskin cover. They're both perimeter stitched on the edges there. They have 3 ribbons, same color scheme with the black, gold, and red. I noticed the Ancient Faith Study Bible has angle cut ribbons, and the single column has straight cut ribbons. So they have a lot of similarities, but they also have some uniqueness in their features as well. You also see that on the inside here with the liners. Now, I have actually verified with Holman that these liners are both calfskin. So the cover is goatskin, the liner is calfskin, but as you can see, the liner in the Ancient Faith Study Bible is more shiny than the single column Bible. They are both edge-lined though, and have a gold gilt line around the edge. And an edge-line construction is a really sturdy construction, but also allows the cover to be nice and flexible. Now, there have been comments made on the liners of these Bibles or the goatskin of these Bibles that they don't feel as soft or as floppy maybe as other Bibles, but in my opinion, when it comes to larger Bibles, I actually prefer a stiffer cover. I think it's easier to manage the Bible when you're holding it if it's a big Bible and it has more of a stiff cover. So I actually like the way they did the cover and the liner on these Bibles. I think it's actually nice and sturdy, not too floppy when you're holding it, and yet the cover really is still quite flexible. So I think when it comes to the cover and the liners in these Bibles, I see really good quality. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I think they did a great job. Again, the color scheme on both of these Bibles with the ribbons, the gold gilt on the page edges, red under gold art gilt. Both of these Bibles are just beautiful. The paper is a little bit different. As you can see, the paper in the single column is a brighter white color, and the Ancient Faith Study Bible has definitely a very yellow hue to it. Both of them, though, do have red highlights for chapter numbers and verse numbers, but then the text of the Bible is in black. As you can see, the single column format here, the poetic setting, it just looks absolutely wonderful. The poetic setting here looks nice in the Ancient Faith, but that is a double column format, so you can see the contrast there. People definitely often like a single column format when it comes especially to poetry, because as you can see here, these stanzas, a lot of times you get the full line of poetry on one line, and that is really nice, and it's just visually appealing to look at poetry in this format. So as I said, the paper in the single column is a brighter paper than the Ancient Faith, but it's line matched. I don't see a lot of show through. It's not distracting, even in the poetic setting here. Let's look at paragraph setting here. And as you can see, I mean, it's just formatted so beautifully. I love the text in black. It's got nice line spacing there. I've always loved the font for the CSB, designed by 2K Denmark. To me, it's a really classic looking font. It looks like a Bible font should look, and yet there's a modern aspect to it too. Very classic, modern at the same time, very crisply printed and nice and bold. You can't ask for much more when it comes to Bible font, in my opinion. It also just allows for, I think, a good use of space. It doesn't take up too much room. On top of that, you do have these wide margins. So this is probably a good time for me to compare this Bible to the single column personal size CSB, which has been out for some time. And what I wanted to show you is comparing these two Bibles. I thought that this Bible, the Handcrafted Collection single column, was actually going to be similar to this one here, but this one is not a personal size, and it also has these wide margins, whereas the original personal size single column CSB does not have particularly wide margins, and it is a personal size, so it is very easy to hold, which is nice, whereas the Handcrafted Collection single column is a pretty large Bible. Not super portable, that's for sure. So I really like the size of the personal size, but I know a lot of people do like to have those wide margins. The font in both of these is actually pretty similar. This is listed as a 10-point font, and this one here is listed as a 10.5 font, and it is, I think, a little bit bigger. Also, again, there's more attention to detail in this premium level Bible with the red highlights here, as opposed to the all black text and headings and verse numbers in this Bible. So this is definitely a more premium Bible, and it being larger also kind of lends to that more premium feel. It's kind of like getting a car that is a luxury vehicle, like a Cadillac. The idea isn't so much to be economy of space and, you know, be like a compact car and have great fuel mileage. The idea is for it to be luxurious, even if it's larger. And I think the same with this Bible. It is larger, but I would say it has a more luxurious look and feel to it, which is the idea. You see that also with the ribbons. The ribbons in the personal size are just these two smaller ribbons, as opposed to these three wider ribbons. And when you compare the covers, this is, as I've been saying, a goatskin. This one actually, though, is also a goatskin. It does say that on the back here, but there's a definite difference in quality between these two goatskins. This is more, I guess, what you would call a top green goatskin leather, and this maybe is like the underside of the goatskin. I'm not an expert on leather, but I think people have talked about that before. Still, for the price, this is a lot cheaper Bible. It is very nice, but it's not premium quality like you get with this handcrafted collection. So this, compared to this, is different. The personal size is a lot smaller, easier to carry around. I really like it. It's definitely a better travel Bible, just something you want to read and take with you places. But this single column Bible, it's gorgeous for reading, and it just has a really premium quality to it, which is what you expect with a handcrafted collection. Another Bible that I think it's worth comparing this Bible to is another wide margin Bible that came out recently from Thomas Nelson, the Nkjv Large Print Wide Margin Reference Bible. It's kind of interesting to compare these two Bibles because there's some similarity, but there's also some key differences. The Nkjv Wide Margin, as you can see here, also has a goatskin cover, black goatskin, so they're similar in that way. But the Nkjv is definitely a wider Bible. I would say overall it definitely has a slightly larger feel to it. And you can see here when you compare them that the Nkjv on the bottom there is a bigger Bible. But they both actually have similar margin space, I think, on the outside. Somewhere maybe a little over an inch on the outside margins. The inside margins of the CSB are probably actually a little bit wider than what you get in the Nkjv. Another difference is that you have a double column format here, verse by verse, as opposed to single column paragraph. But the Nkjv also has references at the bottom of the page, cross references. So that is a big difference. And what's interesting is the Nkjv, which also, by the way, has introductions to the books, which you don't have in the CSB single column. So there's a lot more packed into the Nkjv wide margin. And looking at the end of the Bibles here, it looks like the CSB actually has a few hundred more pages than the Nkjv. So that just shows you that a single column Bible does tend to take up more space, especially in the poetry. You can see there's a lot of white space there. Another thing to look at here are the ribbons. And you can see the Nkjv has angle cut, two black ribbons and a red ribbon, as opposed to the three different colors. The Nkjv ribbons are a little bit longer. Now, this is where different people's opinions definitely come into play. I don't care if my ribbons are super long. I think I saw someone post recently that they wouldn't even buy a certain Bible because the ribbons weren't long enough. When I look at this Bible, though, for example, even though these ribbons aren't super long, they're definitely long enough to open the page very nicely. And so I think when it comes to ribbons, as long as they're not too short, I don't care if they're super long, as long as they do the job. I kind of feel like that guy that you've been seeing on social media who just, kind of teases people with their life hacks, and he just shows how easy it is to do something. And I feel like even with ribbons this long, some people will complain, but all you have to do is just take this ribbon here, open it, still works, So I don't see the need to have super long ribbons. If anything, if the ribbons are too long, they just get in the way. But ribbons to me are a very secondary thing. I care much more about how readable is the Bible. And then looking quickly at the front of the Bible here, there is cardstock, so it's going to be nice and hefty feeling at the beginning. You also have a presentation page, which on the CSB Bibles looks very nice with the key verse there for the CSB. These words are faithful and true. The title pages, copyright page. It looks like they do have some different covers for this Bible. We're looking at the premium goatskin, but they also have a black and brown leather touch. This is printed in China, the first printing of 2021. Table of contents, introduction to the Christian Standard Bible, all very standard things that you get in a CSB Bible. Old Testament title page. Then we get into the biblical text. So looking at the overall presentation, it's just really beautiful. I love the way that the book titles look, headings, the text, as I've talked about, just beautifully printed, and then you have the translator notes on the bottom. When you get to the end of the Old Testament, there's a New Testament title page. And then getting into the book of Matthew, you see the black letter text for the words of Christ. Also, you notice that the Old Testament quotes in the CSB that are quoted in the New Testament are in a bold text. So they really stand out and allow you to see where the New Testament is quoting the Old Testament. A lot of people really like that feature. I think that's nice. Again, all these verse numbers are in red. And what I love about that is the verse numbers are very easy to spot because they're a different color. But I think because they're not black, your brain, when you're just kind of reading through the text, focuses on the black text, and it doesn't even notice the verse numbers until you're looking for them because they're in a different color. So I think this is just one of the best formats for reading through the Bible. But not only is it good for reading through, you can actually use this in a church setting very easily because it does have chapter and verse numbers. Again, the paper quality in this is very nice. It kind of reminds me of the recent ESV Preacher Bible, or Preaching Bible, I can't remember exactly what it was called, verse by verse edition. And that's a very nice Bible too, but I think this paper, for some reason, reminds me a little bit of that. And by the way, comparing it with the Nelson Premier Collection Bible I was talking about, I think the Nelson paper is a little bit brighter white, and this might be a little bit more of a off-white color, but not much. It's still very white. I don't know if you see a difference there. But after the book of Revelation, there is a table of weights and measures, the CSB concordance, and after the concordance, there are a few blank pages here of Bible paper, and then you have maps that are color printed on cardstock. It's actually a pretty thin cardstock. They're not very thick. I think I would prefer the cardstock actually to be a little bit thicker, but a lot of people will be happy that it's not glossy cardstock. And then you have the end sheet here, which is very thick actually, and the edge line in the back here. It does have goatskin leather cover stamped in the back. So that is a pretty thorough look at the single column wide margin CSB in the Holman Handcrafted Collection. I think you can tell from what I've said that I think this is a really beautiful Bible. It's probably a little bit large for my taste. I'm not a real big write in my Bible type of a person, taking notes all over the place. However, I have to say, I think for most people, they're gonna spend money on this Bible and say this was well worth the money that was spent. It truly is a premium quality Bible. Now, it's not necessarily as unique as an Allen or a Schuyler, but it's also not as expensive as an Allen or a Schuyler Bible, but it still has a lot of very good quality materials and construction. And as I said, the size, even if it is a little large, just adds to that luxurious, high quality, high-end feel of this Bible. So I think Holman has done a fantastic job from what I've seen so far on this handcrafted collection of Bibles. If you have any questions or comments about this Bible, I'd love to see those in the comments section below. But thank you so much for taking a look at this Bible and some comparisons with me from A Frisch Perspective.